Julius Caesar. The name itself echoes through the corridors of history, a synonym for power, ambition, and conquest. He was a man who redrew the map of the known world, a general who never lost a war, and a politician who dismantled a 500-year-old republic. We study his battles, we analyze his political maneuvers, and we marvel at his strategic genius. But we often overlook the very fuel that powered this extraordinary machine of a man. What did Caesar eat to build such relentless energy? What were the daily habits that forged his legendary endurance and razor-sharp mind? The answers are not found in grand monuments or epic poems, but in the humble, everyday details of Roman life. Many assume a man of his stature feasted on exotic delicacies and endless banquets, a diet fit for a king. The reality, however, is far more surprising and infinitely more practical. Historical records suggest that the diet that built one of history's greatest empires was astonishingly simple, even austere. It was a diet of soldiers, of farmers, of the very people he led. This wasn't about lavish indulgence. It was about calculated efficiency and peak performance. The food that fueled Caesar's ambition wasn't designed for pleasure, but for power. It was the secret weapon he wielded long before his legions ever drew their swords on the battlefield. Gaius Julius Caesar was born into a world of contradictions. His family, the Julii, boasted a lineage that supposedly stretched back to the goddess Venus herself, a claim that dripped with aristocratic prestige. Yet, for all their divine ancestry, the Julii of Caesar's time were not among Rome's wealthiest or most powerful clans. Caesar spent his formative years not in a lavish palace on the Palatine Hill, but in the Suburra, a crowded, noisy, and notoriously rough lower-class district of Rome. This upbringing gave him a unique perspective, a fluency in the language of both the marble-columned Senate House and the city's grimy, chaotic streets. Living in the Suburra meant Caesar was intimately familiar with the daily realities of the common Roman. He would have witnessed firsthand the struggle for survival, the importance of the grain dole, and the simple, repetitive meals that sustained the masses. At the very heart of the Roman diet, and by extension Caesar's, was grain. For the Romans, grain was more than just food. It was a strategic asset, the bedrock of their civilization, and the fuel for their imperial expansion. Wheat, specifically emmer spelt, was the primary staple, consumed by everyone from the lowest plebeian to the highest-ranking senator. The most common form of this grain was bread, or panis. However, the bread of Caesar's time was a far cry from the soft, white loaves we know today. It was coarse, dense, and hearty, often made from whole grain flour, which retained the bran and germ. This made it incredibly rich in fiber B vitamins and essential minerals. Section 2. The liquid gold of the Mediterranean. If grain was the solid foundation of the Roman diet, olive oil was its liquid soul. The olive tree, grapes, grain, its fruit provided the primary source of fat for the entire Roman world. Olive oil was ubiquitous and multi-purpose, cooking, as a condiment, as a preservative, a skin moisturizer, a lamp fuel, and even a form of medicine. Its importance cannot be overstated. It was a fundamental component of daily life and a symbol of civilization. For Romans, to live in a place where olive trees could not grow was to live in the uncivilized wilds of barbarism. The golden green liquid was the very essence of their culture. Section 3. From the vine. More than just a drink. No discussion of the Roman diet would be complete without paying homage to wine. Like olive oil, wine was a cornerstone of Mediterranean life and Roman culture, a gift from the god Bacchus that was consumed by all social classes, from slaves to emperors. However, the Roman relationship with wine was fundamentally different from our modern one. It was rarely drunk neat. The standard practice was to dilute wine with water, often in a ratio of 1 part wine to 2 or 3 parts water. Drinking undiluted wine was considered a barbaric custom, a sign of a lack of self-control and refinement. This diluted beverage, known as pasca when mixed with vinegar, was the everyday drink of choice for almost everyone. Section 4. The rations of war, protein and practicality. While the Roman diet was mostly plant-based and grain-centered, protein remained crucial, especially for a soldier. Primary protein sources were practical, preserved, and portable. The most common was bacon, cured pork, laridum. Pork was the Romans' favorite meat. Curing pork with salt allowed long-distance transport without spoiling. It provided dense protein and fat, amino acids for muscle repair, and high calories for strenuous activity. A small piece of bacon added to porridge could transform the meal. Bacon roasted over an open fire did the same. Cheese was another vital source of protein and fat. Like cured meat, cheese preserved the nutrition of milk. Hard-aged cheeses were durable, nutrient-dense, and long-lasting without refrigeration. Section 1. The engine of endurance. Fueling the body. The diet that powered Julius Caesar and his legions was not the product of advanced nutritional science, but of centuries of practical wisdom. It was a system perfected by necessity, and its biological impact was profound. The foundation of this diet, the whole grains consumed as coarse bread pulls. These complex carbohydrates break down slowly in the digestive system, providing a steady and sustained release of glucose into the bloodstream. This process avoids the sharp, debilitating spikes and crashes in blood sugar that come from simple sugars and refined starches. For an army on the march or a general in a protracted battle, this steady fuel supply was a decisive biological advantage, translating directly into superior physical stamina and endurance. Section 2. The commander's clarity. Fueling the brain. While physical endurance wins battles, mental clarity wins wars. Julius Caesar's leadership was defined by his sharp intellect, his capacity for rapid, decisive action, his uncanny ability to remain calm under immense pressure. His diet and lifestyle played a crucial, though often overlooked, role in maintaining this cognitive edge. The human brain is an incredibly energy-hungry organ, consuming about 20% of the body's glucose. The same slow-release carbohydrates from whole grains fueled his soldiers' muscles and provided a stable, consistent energy supply to Caesar's brain. This prevented mental fog, irritability, poor decision-making, ensuring his mind was always primed for strategic thought. Section 3. The discipline doctrine, the psychological weapon. The psychological weapon. Beyond the direct biological impacts, Caesar's lifestyle of austerity and routine was a formidable psychological weapon. Self-discipline is a muscle. The more it is exercised, the stronger it becomes. By deliberately choosing simple foods and adhering to a rigorous daily schedule, Caesar was constantly training his own willpower, mastering his own appetites for food, comfort, and luxury, gave him the mental fortitude to endure any hardship the world threw at him. This internal mastery was the foundation of his external authority. A man who is master of himself projects an aura of unshakable control that inspires confidence in his followers and instills fear in his enemies. His discipline was a visible declaration of his strength. Section 1. The Empire Within. As we draw the veil back on the ancient world, the life of Julius Caesar reveals itself to be a masterclass in calculated simplicity. Many surprising details emerge from the historical record that challenge our image of Roman leaders. For instance, while we imagine lavish banquets, Caesar was famously indifferent to food. Suetonius tells a story of a time Caesar was served rancid olive oil at a host's table. To avoid embarrassing his host, he ate it without complaint and later chided his companions for their lack of social grace. This wasn't just politeness, it showed a focus that made food a trivial distraction. Ultimately, the story of his food is about the inner life. True power is first cultivated within. He conquered Gaul after first conquering himself, his appetites, impulses, and comforts. His simple diet and rigorous habits were the bedrock of endurance and strategic genius. To command the world, one must first command oneself. The greatest empires are forged in the quiet, daily discipline of the empire within.